Taste of Ukraine with your hosts,
Diana,
Natalia, Argangela,
and Dana.
Today we're going to be making perogy, also known as pierogies.
These are the following utensils and ingredients we have used.
We will be using 10 potatoes, 2 teaspoons of salt, 250 grams of cottage cheese, 3/4 cups of water, 3 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of butter, and 1 large egg.
The utensils you are going to use is a potato peeler, a sharp knife, a tablespoon, a spoon, a rolling pin, a wine glass to cut out the circles from the dough, bowls, and a sifter.
Hope you enjoy the show.
Step 1.
For making the perfect perogy,
Start off with 10 large potatoes.
make sure they're thoroughly washed, however. They have bacteria on them. When using a knife, make sure you cut away from yourself. This will prevent cuts and scrapes.
When using a potato peeler, you can cut towards or away from yourself because the potato peeler has a safeguard on it.
Oh, it's one of those like kind of kits that you put for sand.
If you see any dark spots on the potato, make sure to cut it off.
As well as make sure when cutting the potato, you don't cut off too much, or else that would be a waste.
Once you're done peeling the potatoes, put them in a pot.
Make sure to fill the pot with water, but make sure that the potatoes are completely submerged.
Once you put them in the pot, make sure you have a clean surface so that you can do your next step for the pierogi.
When all the potatoes are completely submerged, make sure to put it on the stove for high temperature for about 25 minutes. Right before boiling, make sure to cut the potatoes in half.
While they're boiling, make sure to add a teaspoon of salt for flavor.
Step 2.
Preparing the dough.
While the potatoes are cooking, we're going to make the dough.
In a large bowl, for this step, we need 3 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 cups of water, and 1 large egg.
So we're going to start off by cracking the egg.
With the flour and egg, we next add in 1 teaspoon of salt. Working from inside out, mix the dough together. While doing this, slowly add in the water, little by little. Try to make sure that you're only pouring the water in the center of the bowl.
After a while, the dough will get a little bit thicker and the egg will be mixed in with it.
After approximately 2 minutes, your dough should look like this.
This is the correct way it should be done.
It should be a thick texture.
Make sure to mix the dough very quickly. This way, you're not getting too much flour in the mixture, and if it does get too much flour, it'll become a little bit crumbly. Add water if it becomes too dry. When the dough is done, pull it out of the bowl and set it aside on a clean surface.
This will make room for making the potatoes.
Step 3.
Making the potato filling.
Once the potatoes are done boiling and the dough is sitting aside, prepare half a cup of milk.
Approximately 3 tablespoons of butter, and half this package of packed cottage cheese, which you can find at almost any grocery store.
After 25 minutes, your potatoes should look like this. Once they're done, turn off the stove and carefully pick up the potato pot by the sides and carefully bring it to the sink. Drain the potatoes,
Making sure so that the steam does not come to your face.
Make sure that all the potatoes are properly drained. Then after, put them in a large mixing bowl. Slowly, until they are all out.
while the hot potatoes are still in the bowl.
Make sure to cut the butter into small pieces and spread them all over. This should be done while the potatoes are still hot so that the butter can melt.
Then add a half a cup of milk.
Prepare the cheese. Make sure that it is 250 milligrams. Add the cheese after. Mix all the ingredients together slowly and make sure you get all the butter in.
After approximately 2 minutes, the potato batter should look like this.
It should have no clumps because it should be evenly mixed.
You should no longer see the butter because the butter should be melted.
Don't be afraid to add some more flour to the board. Knead the dough for about a minute. Not even, it should be a very quick time. Knead the dough so that it softens.
Step 4.
Shaping the dough and filling the pita head.
So first, take a handful of flour and spread it along the board so the dough doesn't stick to the board.
Next, take the dough and put it on top of the board.
Cut the dough into 3 pieces so it's easier to work with.
Make sure that these pieces are even.
So take 1 piece and start rolling it. Make sure that it is evenly rolled out. While rolling it, remember to keep 1.5 to 2 millimeters thick.
When you're done rolling the dough, it should look approximately like this.
To shape the size of the pita head, choose a cup
With the rim, depending on the size of how big you want your pita head to be.
Start cutting shapes into the dough. Squish the cup into the dough and turn it a few times to cut the dough. So when you're done making the shapes, take
The extra and roll it back up into a ball, and you'll use it again until all of the dough is used up. Take them in your hands and stretch them out. Cuff them in your hands into like a little bowl and scoop up tiny bits of potato.
At least half a teaspoon.
Press down the potatoes tightly into the cuffed cutout.
Making sure that there are no holes because if there are, the potato filling will come out.
Pinch together the 2 sides.
Tightly.
Fold in half, then pinch together.
Yeah, I know.
Get friends to help you.
While making the pierogies, boil the water and add 1 tablespoon of salt to the water. While putting in the pierogies, put it really closely to the water so the water doesn't splash all over your fingers.
Put it very slowly though.
Be extremely careful.
Fill the pot with water halfway.
Approximately 3 liters, depending on the pot size.
And how many pierogies you want to cook.
Put the desired amount of pierogies into the pot.
And put the temperature on high. When you're done putting in all the pierogies, mix. So slowly.
Make sure that you're not poking any of the pierogies so that you don't split any of them.
Or puncture. Cook for about 5 minutes. Make sure you don't overcook them or else they'll explode.
And have a mushy taste.
the pyrogy will float to the top of the water. Scoop them up with a drainer and put them into a bowl.
When they have rised up, that's how you know they are ready.
Scoop them up with a small drainer so you can save the water for the other pyrogy. Once all the pierogies are scooped, take 10 grams
Of butter
and
add into the pyrogy so that they will not stick together.
shake the pyrogy so the butter spreads out evenly among them.
This puts a nice good coating around all of the pyrogy and ensures that they won't stick.
After that batch is done, you can make a second batch, depending on how many you made in the first place. Again, slowly put them in.
Put them close to the water so the water does not splash you.
Be careful.
So this is how you make wonderful and delicious tasting pierogies.
In conclusion, all our hard work paid off. The pierogies look and taste delicious.
You can purchase this recipe in the Smacznego cookbook.
In many stores.
You can also substitute the potato and cheese for another type of cheese, any type you want, or other various fruits and vegetables, or even meats, for those meatitarians out there.
And they will taste just as great. Tune us next week, and we will be making borscht.
Just say borscht.
Okay, borscht. Tune in next week. We will be making borscht.
Ой, у вишневому садку там соловейко щебетав, додому я просилася.
I forgot my line.
Make sure they're thoroughly washed, however. They have bacteria on them.
Step 2.
Preparing the dough.
What do we say?
Зійшла зоря, проснеться матінка моя, буде питать, де